your life for your friends. Now, in our society, what is love? You can love pizza in the same way that you use the word that you love your spouse. Love often is this squishy emotion that means I have warm feelings towards you. I love you for what you can do back for me. We sing about romantic love and lift that up as so wonderful, but we know that's not always very long-lasting. But sacrificial love, that's the true kind of love, and that's what Jesus calls us to. Author and sports enthusiast Pat Williams told a story about a very special baseball game that he attended. The Atlanta Braves were playing the Dodgers. The date was April 8th, 1974. Anybody know what that game was all about? Somebody at the first service knew. Hank Aaron was poised to pass Babe Ruth's home run record. He tied it at 714, and all he needed was one more home run. So it was a sellout crowd, hoping that they'd be able to see this home run. And Pat Williams was there in the stands, and he said, you have to remember that this was almost 40 years ago, and our nation was very different then, because Hank Aaron had gotten almost 1 million pieces of mail in that year. Most of them were fans, but he got 100,000 hate mail, some of them with death threats. Why? Because he was an African-American man who was going to be breaking the record of white Babe Ruth, and these people were not happy about it. Well, Aaron was up to bat, and the Dodgers pitcher, Owl Downing, threw into the plate, and there was the crack of the bat, and the ball went sailing, and it was a home run, and the crowd went wild. And as Aaron was loping around the bases, 2 teenage boys scaled over the wall and ran onto the field. White kids, and they're thinking, what are they going to do to him? They turned out to just be fans, and they were cheering him on. When he reached home base, the dugout, of course, had emptied. Even the Dodgers were pleased about having been there. And Aaron was delighting in all of the accolades. And then he looked and he saw a 68-year-old little black lady. And he said to her, Mom, what are you doing here? And she said, Baby, thinking about those death threats, if they're going to get you, they've got to get me first. Now that is the love that a mother gives to a child. If they're going to get you, they've got to get me first. Well, we have a God like that, a mothering God who said to all the brokenness and darkness in our world, all the sin and evil that holds us fast, said, even to death, if they're going to get you, they've got to get me first. And they did on the cross. And then the resurrection shows us that sacrificial love is the way. God's stamp of approval on the death and resurrection of Jesus. The ultimate act of sacrificial love triumphed in the resurrection because it showed us that love is the way. Because God, therefore, first loved us in this way, we are then able to be those who love others in that same way. That we too can follow the example of our mothering God and love as the hands and feet of Christ. Amen. Please take a moment for meditative prayer.